Good morning. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, July 2nd, 2025, 9:30 a.m. meeting. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
I see some fresh faces in the crowd, people who have not been here before. So the way we conduct the hearings are as follows. First, we will take any requests for adjournment. They will get a priority. We'll finish with those quickly, if there are any. And next, we'll call the cases. The hearings are conducted as follows. The applicant will present their case. If there are any people who are here objecting to the relief sought, we'll let them voice their concerns, and then the applicant or their representative will be given the opportunity to sum up. All right. In terms of evidence, we accept just about anything. We're not burdened by the strict rules of evidence. We accept letters, we accept emails, we accept just about anything. The only thing we do not accept are photographs on your phone. The only way we can accept those is if you leave your phone here permanently, and I doubt that anyone would like to do that. However, you never know. The proceedings are videotaped. They are archived so that you can refer to them in the future. We do have a court stenographer here, so I would ask that if anyone is at odds with any of the applications, you don't try to speak over each other so that the court reporter can take down what she has to. This is not a debate. All right, I believe I covered everything I'd like to cover, Patrick, so if you'd like to call the case. Are there any requests for an adjournment?
Mr. Chairman, I do not have any requests for adjournment this morning.
Okay.
First we have case 35325, Woodmere, Teresa Anthony. Renewal of grant to maintain two-family dwelling, also known as 1074 Lynn Place.
There was a condition.
You want to give us your name and your address?
Teresa Anthony, 1074 Lynn Place, Woodmere, New York 11598.
Okay, Miss Anthony, Antoni, not Anthony. This is a renewal of a grant to maintain a two-family dwelling. The building department inspected the premises on April 14, 2025, and they found that all conditions previously imposed by the board have been complied with. Is there anything you'd like to add, ma'am?
No.
Okay. Do I have any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Anthony will send you a copy of the board's decision by mail once we render it, okay?
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Okay, second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for coming in, ma'am.
You're all done.
Have a nice 4th of July.
Okay, thank you.
Next we have case 35425, West Hempstead, Hernan G. Rojas and Monica Carvalli. Renewal of grant to maintain 6-foot-high fence larger than the pool installation area, also known as 339 Madison Avenue. Mr. Chairman, there is an application for an appearance waiver on this case.
Okay, so this is residential renewal, and there is an application for an appearance waiver so that the applicant needn't appear today, and we're going to grant that. The building department inspected the property on March 31st, 2025, and they found that all conditions previously imposed by the board were being complied with. Do I have any questions from the board? Because as I understand it, the application wants to make this grant permanent. And Becky is our senior representative from the building department. I don't mean that in terms of age. I mean that in terms of the length of time she's here. So could you explain to us what happened and as to the request for permanence.
In 2007, not 2007, a couple of years back, the building zone ordinance was revised. A separate section was added for corner residential fencing. In this case, the site plan depicted indicates that the fencing location should be as of right.
But I'm not sure that's what the ordinance says, but we'll address that when we deliberate.
When reviewing the site plan meets the requirements of section 311.1.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed?
Next we have case 35525, North Belmore, Christine Fort Meyer, renewal of grant to maintain 6-foot-high fence, also known as 109 Hazel Street.
Anyone here on this case? Silence. We'll mark it second call. Next case.
Next, we have case 35625, Elmont Kimberly A. Pierre, renewal of grant to maintain 6-foot-high stockade
Today's
fence in
fence,
front
fence
yard,
day.
also known as 131 Heathcott Road. Mr. Chairman, there is an application for an appearance waiver.
Okay. This is a renewal, and it's a residential case, so we will grant the application for an appearance waiver. The building department inspected the property on April 25th, 2025, and found that all conditions previously imposed by the board are being complied with. Do I have any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion? If not, do I have a motion? Go ahead.
I move the hearing be closed, matter placed on the decision calendar. They will be notified by mail of the board's decision. once
Second. All in favor? Any opposed?
Next, we have case 357 of 25, West Hempstead, Anthony J. and Jean Bonfiglio, renewal of grant to maintain pool not permitted in front yard setback on Lindbergh Street, and 5-foot and 6-foot-high fence with attached 7-foot-high arbor, larger than pool installation area. Maintain 6-foot-high living fence, also known as 297 Plymouth Street. Mr. Chairman, we have an application for an appearance waiver.
Okay, this too is a renewal of a grant on a residential property, so we'll grant the application for appearance waiver. The building department inspected the property on April 2nd, 2025, and found that all conditions previously imposed by the board are being complied with. Do I have any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decisioner calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second. All in
Aye.
favor? Any opposed?
Next, we have case 35825, East Atlantic Beach, Leonid Lev and Olga Zilberstein, also known as Olga Zilberstein. Variances: lot area occupied, front yard average setback, side yards aggregate, rear yard construct dwelling with roof deck,
Kevin,
demolish existing dwelling,
So what's
also known as
mine?
43 Malone Avenue.
Name?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Good morning,
For the
Mr.
applicants,
McKevitt.
Thomas McKevitt, K-E-V-I-T-T.
Is it McKevitt or McKevitt?
Today it's McKevitt, next time it'll be McKevitt.
Thank you.
And the time after that it'll be McDermott. Son, Ward, Braff, Coscignano, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, 11553. Before I begin, Mr. Chairman, I actually just handed several exhibits to council, to the board. The first are a number of photographs, which I personally took on June 24th, 2025. They are fair and accurate representations of the subject premises, as well as the surrounding properties in the area. I will mention that I did take it on the hottest day in the last 8 years. It was 88 degrees at the time in Atlantic Beach, and it was so hot, people weren't even going to the beach. I'm not kidding. Everyone was staying in the air conditioning at that time.
Did you get combat pay for that, Mr. McKeevitt?
I didn't, but I will tell you, the people around me felt so bad for me. We got 2 bottles of water from the neighbors as we were walking in the middle of the street. Mr. Level said we got 2. They felt so bad for us.
Commendable.
That's right. So, and they were very legitimately nice people. So I added up a couple other exhibits just so you know as well too. 2 more prior zoning decisions from this board. One was case 464 of 23, decided October 18th of 2023, and the other is 325 of 22, decided on May 25th, 2022. I'll refer to them later on in my testimony, as well as the fact we have letters from 8 surrounding residents consenting to this application.
Okay, we'll accept these in evidence.
So to go on with this case, the address of subject premises is 43 Malone Avenue in East Atlantic Beach, also known as Section 58, Block 145-1, lots 9 and 10 on the land tax map of Nassau County. This is residence C-zone, town of Hempstead, because it is East Atlantic Beach, located on the west side of Malone Avenue, 180 feet south of Beach Street. The current dwelling, which is located, you see in photographs 1, 2, and 3, which I provided in my photo array, was constructed in 1930. Not only was there damage from Sandy to this location, but there was also a fire a number of years ago. The structure has been abandoned. Before my client bought it in August 2024, you can see the town of Hempstead Building Department has boarded up the structure. It is not habitable for human habitation, nor can it economically be habitable again by humans. Not only the Sandy, but there was also severe fire. The owner had also passed away previously. The adult son was there. There was a lot of concern and consternation from the neighbors around there on the condition of this property. They're very unhappy the way it is right now. As you can see, the current area is all single-family homes. This property is 60 feet wide by 60 feet deep. It is 3,600 square feet. The current setback, front yard setback of the home is 9.9 feet. The rear yard setback is currently 4 feet to the house, but only 0.7 feet to a shed. The current lot coverage is 59.1%. And the side yard on the south is 3.8 feet. I think it's probably about 12 feet in the north. I couldn't get a good read from the survey. And again, I mentioned the rear yard is currently 4 feet. The application is to demolish this house, build a brand new 3-story FEMA compliant house. The first floor will only be the storage of 2 automobiles with the storage with 2 stories on top with a roof deck. We are height compliant. We are at 30 feet. Again, we started about 4.5 feet above the design flood elevation, but the very peak of this house comes in at 30 feet. Under the new application, we're going to have a lot coverage of 55.6% for the house, which is actually less than the current house, and it'll be also 7.64% for some decks surrounding it, so the total will be 63.3%. The front yard setback is 6.5 feet, where 10.46 is average, but I've been through this before. We all lived through an application on Oswego several years ago. I do not want to repeat in my memory ever again, neither do any of us. But as you indicate that when you get to this area, it gets kind of tricky as to how you measure the front yard setbacks. And I'll give you an example. When you look at house number 5 and you see the front yard setbacks, according to that, it goes back about 10 feet, but that's depending upon whether you measure to the base of the house or to that front porch. So the building department tells you you're supposed to measure the front yard setback to the initial dwelling itself, that those porches and garages don't count. That's how they measure it. But when you look at reality, when you look at photograph 5, when you look at photograph 6, you really look at the bulk of the houses really come really more to 5-6 feet back, which is where our property is going to go. So even though technically you're going to measure back to those garage doors and front doors, in reality you're talking bulky decks which go much more to the front, and we're going to be very much in line with that. We're really going to be in line with the rest of the properties in that instance. The rear yard is currently 4 feet. We're going to make it 5 feet. As a matter of fact, we met with the neighbors in the house back door, and their one concern was making it a bigger rear yard, and they were actually very pleased with that when we met with them last Tuesday. We are going to have side yards of 5 feet and 8 feet, 8 feet in the north. There will be a portion in the north which will be 5 feet for an air conditioning platform for the central AC units, which must be raised because of the situation that we are in a flood zone, what we have to do. Again, our lot coverage is high, but I was doing the calculation of all the lot coverage in the surrounding areas, and they are high as well. For example, at 51 Malone, just a couple of houses away, that's 65.7%. 49 Malone is 53.7%. 47 Malone, 52.8%. 39 Malone, the house directly south to us, is 68.5%. And 37 Malone, 51.8%. 33 Malone, 43.1%. So not only in the ballpark, we're actually lower than the house directly to the south of us, and lower on the house actually 3 doors to the north of us. I do mention that there were actually a couple of applications which came down by this board recently. They are located in photographs 12 and photograph 13. Photograph 12 is 17 Malone, and again, that was approved by this board on October 18th, 2023. Case 464 of 23, that's a 49.61% lot coverage. And finally, picture number 13 is 14 Malone. That was approved by this board on May 25th of 2022 at case number 325 of 22. And according to the assessment department records, the lot coverage there is 76%. It's a big coverage, but again, it's big. It's small lots down Atlantic Beach. As you can see, you know, photograph 13 is a gorgeous brand new house they're building down there. So again, the basis of my case is that we are doing something in character, especially in character new construction. Our lot coverage is certainly within less than nearby houses. It's a FEMA compliant house. And the lot coverage, we're asking for probably about 3 feet more than was set back where we are currently. But I'd argue that in reality, when you look where those porches come out, we're going to be in the exact same line as the rest of the properties on the street.
Mr. McKevitt, if the board were to approve the portion of this house that's currently being categorized as decking,
Yes.
would your client agree to a permanent condition that it never be enclosed in any way?
Yes, absolutely. And this is my client. This is Leon Lev. This is Dr. Silverstein. They're looking very much forward to moving this house, but they've just agreed, yes, they're going to keep it as a deck. They want to be out there in the open. That's why they're coming here. They're much looking forward to be on the water, where it's 13 degrees cooler in the rest of the town of Hempstead.
It goes down 10 degrees as you go over the loop.
I-
And then once you walk from your house to the ocean, it drops 5 to 10 more. It's amazing. But you watch your car. As you get on the loop, as you come over the loop, it drops 10.
I was watching it the entire. It's funny you should do it because 88 went left there. As I go further and further, when I left the loop, I'd mow, but as I went from Merrick Road, it was like 93. It was going up literally a degree every other minute as I went up towards Uniondale.
Right?
Yep.
I watch it all the time.
But the most important thing is, before I went back to the office, I did stop at Marvell for ice cream first. That was most important. Yes.
Where were you on the line?
I was, Mr. Regano, it was so hot. There was no one on the
No
line
line.
at Marvell at 11:45 in the morning. That's how hot it was.
Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. McKevitt, you and your clients will all receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered.
Second?
Thank you very much.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Same to you.
Next, we have cases 35925 through 36025. Belmore, Nadine Hillel. Variances, side yards aggregate, construct garage with second story above attached dwelling, maintain pool equipment not permitted in the side yard, also known as 2355 Beach Street.
Hi, I'm Nadine Hillel, 2355 Beach Street, Belmore, New York.
Can you speak a little louder?
Hi, Nadine Hillel, 2355 Beach Street, Belmore, New York.
Good morning. Ms. Lowe?
Good morning. My name is Ashley Lowe-Kenice from Mark Anthony Architects. Our office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York. I am here today with our client, Ms. Nadine Hillel, who is the owner and occupant of the subject property located at 2355 Beach Street in Belmore, New York.
Good morning.
Good morning. This property is located in a Residence C zone and has a lot size of 8,362 square feet. We are here today as a result of an application filed under tracking number 25-5738 for a proposed attached garage with second floor above, proposed first-story partial front addition, proposed interior alterations, and a proposed portico.
Ms. Lowe, is page 2 of your photograph array, is that the subject property? It's like a stucco house, beige
Yes.
with white trim?
Yes.
Is that the subject property?
Yes. Additionally, an additional application was also filed under application 25-1544 to maintain an existing pool enclosure and pool equipment.
Thank you.
Can I keep going?
Yeah, proceed.
Go. Okay. The required side yard setback for this property is 8 feet. However, the proposed side yard setback is 5.08 feet on the east side of the property where the proposed attached garage with second-story addition will be. We are looking for relief of 3.08 feet for this request. As a result, this side yard deficit also affects the side yard aggregate as well. The proposed side yard aggregate is 21.68 feet, where 24 feet is required, for which we are requesting relief of 2.32 feet. Our final request is in regard to the pool equipment. The pool was previously permitted in 2005 under building permit number 05-638 with a 5-foot fence. However, the pool equipment was not included on that permit. When filing for these proposed applications, we were made aware that the pool equipment was not permitted, and we are filing for relief for the pool equipment to remain in the side yard where it is required to be in the
Any
rear yard.
complaints from the neighbors about pool equipment?
No. It's located right next to the AC equipment.
And what is the purpose of the portion of the proposal that's above the garage?
It's attached, it'll be attached to the rest of the home. It's not separate. It's just for a proposed bedroom and walk-in closets. It'll be where the master is, but it leads into where the existing house is.
Okay, hold on. It says construct garage with second story above, so it's really a 2-story, right? The garage is not there, the one that you're proposing a garage with the second story, right?
A garage, and then above the
Right.
second story will be part of the living space will be attached to the existing second floor.
Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Lowe, you and your client will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it is
Second.
rendered.
All in favor?
Hold on,
All-
hold on. We- Is there, along the bulkhead, is there, what is there as far as the pool enclosure? Does it go all the way down the side, Joe?
Tell them?
Speak
Hi.
loudly.
Okay, my pool is built into the deck, so it's like, it looks like it's level, but and then it has enclosure of like a railing around the deck.
Oh, it's not the whole yard that's enclosed for the pool.
It's just around the deck where
Right.
the pool is.
Do you have, was that an enclosure that you did with the benefit of a permit? I mean, the inspector was there.
When we bought the house many years ago, I believe 96, the pool was always in the deck. We renovated the deck, like cosmetically fixed the deck, but the deck was always around the pool. So it was
Right,
never
I'm-
all open.
We're just trying to get to determining whether, to ensuring that the pool has an adequate enclosure, per the code for the safety of anyone around. So,
It's all closed off where the stairs
that it?
are and
right.
it's boxed in.
But the enclosure has to be of a certain style. I just need to know, Ms. Lowe, do you know if there's a permit for the enclosure so that we know it's already been looked at? I
Yes,
assume since the inspector was there, he would have noticed had it not been properly enclosed, but,
Yes, there was, for the 2005 permit, there was an in-ground pool with a fence to code included. The only portion of the pool that was not included on the permit from 2005 was the pool equipment. However, I did speak to the inspector. We will, not the inspector, the plans examiner. We will make sure that there are,
Because she said she redid that, so do we know if that still meets code?
she just,
We painted it, like, that
Oh,
was,
yeah,
okay.
she just,
I thought you
no, no, no,
Spruced it up,
no,
yeah.
no, just,
Okay.
That's the next case. Next case.
yes, around the deck. Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'll renew my motion. I move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Lowe, you and your client will both receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next, we have case 36125, Near Valley Stream, Jahinger and Roshan Gaddit, mother-daughter residence second kitchen, also known as 64 Hommel Street.
People aged.
Tina Pangallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552.
Morning, my name
Morning.
is Jahangir Gaddit. My address is 64 Harmony Street, Valley Stream, New York, 11580.
My name is Roshan Gari, and I'm living on 64 Homer Street, Valley Stream 11580.
You okay, Stephanie? Go ahead, Ms. Pangallo.
Ms. Pangallo, the other proposed members, Blau,
This
and
is their daughter,
name,
Maren Gadet, and the son and his wife. They just recently had a baby. I've got the little picture from the nursery, and they couldn't make it here because she's recovering, and they
Okay.
have 2 other children.
okay.
So, but the daughter is here as well. I'm representing, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing names, Jaharid and Rosha Jadet of 64 Homily Street in Valley Stream. The property is located on the southeast corner of Hommel Street and Kaplan Avenue in Residence B. We're requesting a variance to maintain a second kitchen for mother-daughter use.
6.
The board actually previously granted a mother-daughter variance for this property back in 1988 for previous owners.
With the little
The primary dwelling is occupied by the owners, and the secondary unit is occupied by Bilal Gadet, son of the owner, and his wife, Afifa Gadet, and their daughters, Azel, 4, and son, Azar Gadet, who is 1.5. Afifa recently had a baby, and they could not be here today because she is still recovering and needs help with the 2 children.
Ms. Pangallo?
Yes.
Second kitchen already in?
Yes.
Okay, and how long have your clients had the house?
When did you purchase the house?
2012.
2012.
Okay, so was you mentioned that there was a mother-daughter granted previously, so I assume the kitchen was in when they bought it? or-
Yes, right? The kitchen was in when you purchased the house?
No, there was a house here. There was a kitchen
Yeah,
house.
it wasn't removed.
And in the basement, I see there's at least a 3-piece
Bathroom.
washroom. Have you been down there?
Yes.
Okay, and I see 1 closet, maybe a minor division into 2 pieces, but otherwise, what's down there?
Just storage and the laundry. They all use that.
Okay, all right, keep going, thank you.
There are 4 cars parked at the premise. There is a garage and more than enough room for the 4 cars to be parked off-street. There's 1 mailbox, 1 electric meter, 1 doorbell. They have been made aware that this permit is only for their use, and the kitchen must be removed with a plumbing permit filed by a licensed plumber for the removal if there's any change of circumstance or if the house is sold. They have also been aware that this permit will need to be renewed. We will have the finished basement with the bathroom permit closed out as well. The plumber wants to file for both pieces at the same time, presuming the board grants the kitchen variance.
Ms.
Okay.
Pangallo, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The people door that's at the end of the larger of the 2 attached garages, did you go into that?
Oh, into the garage itself?
Well, through that, Yeah, because there's a people door there.
No, I didn't go into the garage.
Do we know what's in there? Is it being used as a
Storage.
garage? Pardon me?
Storage.
Okay. You know, just because there's two front entrances, you know, with the mother-daughter scenario, that's usually frowned on, so.
Right, even though the front entrance goes into a garage, but not the house.
Well, we don't,
Assuming it's a garage, sorry.
yeah, I mean,
Because
two
there's no
garages together.
entrance, right, okay, I see what
I
you're saying.
see
but
what you're
There's no
saying.
entrance from the garage into the house
Right.
itself.
All the
but-
better to make those two garages and do another apartment. Okay. Go ahead.
Give it back to Joe.
That's it. We're respectfully asking the board to grant the variance. If you have any questions for,
Where is the primary living unit going to be, first or second floor?
that would be the first floor.
The
First floor, yes.
And how many bedrooms are there on the second floor?
On the second floor, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. That's where the son and his children and the daughter live.
Wait, I only see 3 on my
3,
plan.
1, 2.
Three.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at the reversion plan, I'm sorry. The reversion plan shows the living room as a bedroom. 3 bedrooms.
And I see there are 4 cars parked in the driveway, so they're all off-street. Are there any restrictions on on-street parking in front of the house?
No.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Oh, I just want to make a quick record about the Board of Architectural Review reviewed the premises to make sure that it was suitable to use as a two-family, as a mother-daughter residence, and revert back to a single-family residence at the cessation of the use. Often, as you know, Ms. Pangello, they make recommendations, so we give you an opportunity to explain why you shouldn't have to do them. In your case, they did not make any recommendations. They did determine it was suitable and restorable, but they made one comment that is with the provision that there be no illegal occupancy in the basement area.
Or the
So,
garage?
okay.
Understood.
Or the garage. Other than that, I would move, if there's no other question, I'll move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Bangallo, you and your clients signed in will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered.
Second?
Thank you very much.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have case 36225, near Valley Stream, Avram Gross and Sarah Friedman. Variances, front yard average setback, lot area occupied, rear yard construct dwelling, demolish existing dwelling, also known as 606 Diane Place.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Shmuel Flaum, residing at 194 Wanzer Avenue, Inwood, New York, 11096.
Avram Gross, 606 Diane Place, Valley Stream, New York, 11581.
Morning.
Good morning. Just to reference the drop of temperature, I want to say thank you to the board and the town for updating the air conditioning system in the building.
It's working
It happens to be
very
very
well.
cold. I would have bought a sweater had I known, but it's definitely better than the alternative. Okay, for me it is. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, members of the board.
Morning.
Today, we're here seeking variances in connection with the construction of a new proposed dwelling in the town, in this area of Valley Stream. 606 Diane Place currently has an existing single-family dwelling. My client, the owner, purchased the house 4 years ago with his wife. When their family was a little bit smaller, the house is slowly becoming too small for them. They just had their 4th child, readily welcomed into the family. They're seeking to build a new house, and in conjunction with the new house, are seeking a few variances with relationship to what they're allowed to build. I'm going to go through the variances, and I'll answer any questions thereafter. On this property, you're allowed to have a house of 27.5% of the lot area, which is allowable at 1,876.16. We're proposing a footprint of 2,457.92 which is 36.03%.
What is the, you're gonna demo this house, so what is the existing lot area occupied, if you know?
I don't have it on this page, but I'll check for you in a moment. Just continuing with the variances, and I'll go back and ascertain that information.
Thank you.
Accessory decking porch allowance is 2.5%, or 170.56 square feet. We're proposing 461.52 square feet, which is 6.76%.
Is that in addition to the 36?
In addition, most of that is the open front porch at the front of the house with a small deck in the back. So the total, and I know you always like the total, so I'm gonna give you the total. Total is 42.79% total between the house and the accessory decking, which is the front porch and the rear deck.
Hold on, so what is the total decking then?
The total decking separate from the house or with the
Yes,
house?
separately.
6.76% for the deck and the porch. There's a deck at the rear that's 140 square feet plus minus, the balance being the front porch at the front of the dwelling.
And same question as you probably can guess, if we were to look favorably on the request for the 6.7% of decking / porch, would your client agree to condition that it permanently be open, never to be closed in the future?
100%.
Like run with the land?
100%. Yes. They just want an open porch in the front for the aesthetic purposes, not to be enclosed.
Okay.
Continuing with the variances, the front yard requirement is the average front yard setback or 40 feet. The average front yard setback is 25.65 as per the survey. We're proposing 21'1". That's to the frontmost portion of an architectural feature on the house as delineated on the site plan.
So the 21 is from the front from the closest thing, not just the house, but the porch or whatever?
Not from the porch, it's from the architectural element, the two-story element on the house, to the property line. To the street, there's actually about another 10 feet, and to the house proper is about another 2 feet back. So to the main body of the house is about 23 and a half feet.
And you said that the current porch, did you say that was at 25.65?
The average front yard is 25.65.
Oh, I thought you said it was 40.
No, it's in the Residence B district. You have to either comply with 40 feet or the average front yard setback, whichever is closer.
I've never heard that 40 in 20 years, but okay, I learned something new. So the average,
Wait a second.
Okay, it's average, right. So
Oh,
it's
so-
average front yard setback, but no greater than 40 feet.
oh, okay. Yeah,
Sorry.
We never had that problem. So 25.65 is the average that you're supposed to comply with?
25.65 is the average.
And you're proposing 21.1 something?
21'1".
Okay, and that is
To
to this
not-
architectural
Yeah,
feature?
to the front entry that's over by the front door.
Is there anything closer to the front property line than that?
No, only the porch that's open, not
The-
the
oh, so
open.
yes, the open porch.
The open porches.
And it's not a permitted encroachment?
It is a
Sure
permitted
is.
encroachment, it's just not permitted to be covered as an encroachment.
So
It-
once
the
it's
front porch
covered,
is
is it
allowed to- you
permitted?
can- What?
Once it's covered, is it a permitted encroachment?
What is?
Okay, so the porch is not relevant for our inquiry on front yard. Thank you. Go ahead.
On your plan, I don't see the front porch dimension. I see 16 feet 5 inches wide for each of them. What's the depth of that?
If you go to page A101, the front porch is 7'6" on the side.
It's not here.
It's shown in A101, there's more dimensions.
Shouldn't it be on here?
Do you have the drawing set in front?
Well, we have one set, but
Oh, fine, I can
we
bring up-
usually look for that on our site plans.
No
plot
problem.
plans.
It's 7 feet 6 inches
Thank you.
on the left side.
On the left side.
On the widest dimension, because it's not 7'6" at the front, because
This is left or this is left?
Port
Left
or
or right?
starboard?
Go ahead.
Last but not least, rear yard requirement is 25 feet. We're proposing 22 feet 5 inches to the bay projection on the rear of the house. The rest of the house complies with the setback, I believe.
Mr. Plum, I noticed that you also request to put a cellar in. I take it that the current house has no cellar.
The current house has a basement, not across the entire house, half the house. So in terms of makeup of the floors, I'll go from the second floor down, proposing 5 bedrooms on the second floor, 1 master, 4 children bedrooms. They currently have 4 children. First floor, your typical layout, living room, dining room, kitchen, family room, library, and the cellar. We're proposing a playroom area where they can do painting and crafts, an open space for home gym, storage, mechanical, and storage closet.
The
With
cellar has two bathrooms and it's divided up into multiple.
it's one bathroom.
I see two.
There's a laundry room. There is a I think it should be one bathroom.
Looking at A100,
Yeah.
I see 2 clear bathrooms called out, laundry room, mechanical room, home gym, storage, painting room, playroom, office.
No, this is taken out on the revised law. This is the one. Planning examiner only permitted 1 bathroom.
Did somebody submit those plans to us in advance? It's supposed to be on file for 30 days. Becky, can you go up so I can have a plan? No, but I'm asking you. No, but he's not before us. So, the cellar is one, right? The wheel. That's what it's saying. You're not done. We're not here. We're not being listed on it. No, they saw it with the roof. Okay, but my question is a little bit why. Even if this was the correct then we're not, it's not clear for us or whether or not there should be capital. So I'm understand. All it's for us is to put a cellar, a cellar with who determines what's the Okay, so now we gotta figure out what we gotta do about the plans, because the plans examiner hasn't seen any plans. Becky, you're saying the plans examiner hasn't seen the plans that he now wants us to consider. Yeah, because, yeah. Well, you take it up with him, if he has seen them. Well, go upstairs, if you can get on your next.
there's no, there's no,
I understand, I'm just telling you, it's here. I remember we gave it to him. So what do you do with it?
Although we don't believe that revised plans will trigger any new variances, we don't know that at this point, so we're going to have to put it out a ways just in case you have to send out new notices, right? Patrick, you have a date?
September 10th at 11 a.m.
Okay. September 10, 11 a.m.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the earliest, or that's the earliest in case there has to be another notice? Okay.
There
I
will
mean,
be
you just
another,
don't
you have
know.
to send out another notice of it, and that, because it's amended, you have to assume that lots of people came in and liked what it is, now it's changed, even though it appears to us as being better. So by the time you submit your amended plans, it goes to the buildings department, gets re-reviewed, assuming no objections, and then back to us. That's the date.
Okay.
Okay. I have a question.
Sure.
On these plans, you have something labeled a Costco closet. What is a Costco closet?
All the storage. I wish I had a Costco closet.
I think she answered the question. It's basically bulk storage, because when you go shopping, you don't necessarily need everything in your kitchen, so it's just a big closet to store the bulk of the items.
Never heard the phrase before. But
Really?
you learn something new every day.
I'm glad I could help educate the board today.
Terrific. Have a nice 4th of July.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Costco closet. What in the name of God?
I wish I had a Costco.
I have one in my basement, it's actually like,
I have a pantry that I try to shove stuff in.
I call it my Costco.
I have a pantry, but Costco closet, that's a new one. Eagle Avenue, oh, West Hempstead.
Next, we have cases 36325 through 36425, West Hempstead, Stephanie Alana Lasansi, and Abraham Costa. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard setback on Harrison Street, side yard to construct second-story addition with front portico, all attached to dwelling. Special exception to maintain accessory structure, wood deck with benches and rails, higher and larger than permitted, exceeding horizontal maximum with more than required side and rear yard setbacks and lot area occupied variances, also known as 801 Harrison Street.
On 3, guilty on 2, but I never tried.
My name is Shandor Loshansi. I'm representing Stephanie Loshansi and Abraham Costo. I'm also the resident of 801 Harrison Street in West Hempstead. We're looking to build a second story because our family is growing. And we have an existing deck in the side yard that we're looking to get a permit for.
Okay, to construct those items and/or maintain them, you need variances for lot area occupied, front yard on one of the streets, Harrison Street, side yard, and you need a special exception to continue with the deck as an accessory structure because it has the benches and stuff. So you want to tell us what, you're in a Residence B zone, right? So you want to tell us what the lot area occupied, you're allowed to have up to 27.5%.
What do you
What do you
What are you
propose?
providing?
So based on the allowed occupied lot that we see is 30%, existing is 34%, and it's increasing to 36%. They're the proposed
36%,
Is that with or without the deck?
No, that's not including the deck. The slight increase is for a front portico over the front stoop.
okay, hold on. What I have here is construct a second-story addition with a front portico, all attached to the dwelling. So the second-story addition portion of that will be within the existing footprint?
Yes.
So the front portico, is that outside the footprint, I take it, if it's adding to lot area occupied?
Right.
Slightly, yes.
Okay. And other than that front portico, no portion of this proposal is to build outside the footprint, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then you just have the deck.
Yes.
So that 34, that goes up to so the 34
goes to
already includes the deck?
No, the deck is not
No.
attached to the house, it's,
It's separate, not covered, not enclosed.
the reason why there's a variance for the deck is because we're slightly over the 2 foot from the rear and from the side of the lot, it's the corner lot, and those are the.
But your deck does need a variance for lot area occupied. So what's the number that tells us the percentage of coverage with the deck, the house, and the new portico? What number is that?
I'm pretty sure that's it, but I don't know how that breaks down between.
36?
Yeah, that's all we're asking for, yeah.
So the 36 includes the deck, but we
Everything.
don't know how much of the 36 the deck
Is.
comprises.
You can see it on the chart below, but it's not calculated.
So, for example, if we're to consider, this is a relatively high percentage, believe it or not, particularly for some neighborhoods. If we were to consider allowing 36%, including the deck, we would want a condition on that it be permanently kept open.
The deck, right?
Is that acceptable?
That's fine, yes.
And you said the deck's not attached to the house?
No. There's a picture of the deck if you.
Okay, so the lot area occupied you propose is 36, where the allowable's 27 and a half. You need a front yard setback, you're a corner lot, I take it?
Yes.
On Harrison Street, supposed to have 25, what do you propose?
Well, it was built in 1955 with a variance of 10.
Oh, there was a variance?
Yeah, it was built, the house was built with a variance in 1955. The setback is 10 foot.
Okay, and you're not
11.
And
proposing
you're
to
not
change
changing
that?
We're not changing it. We're just building straight up. We're not.
The portico isn't on that side?
The portico is in the front. Yes, it is
Yeah,
in the front.
Not
of
on
the-
that side, though? Okay.
Right.
And then side yard, why don't you tell us what you're supposed to have and what you propose? You're supposed to have at least 5, right?
There's no change.
The side yard where the deck is, we're not making any changes to side yards.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then just the special
Core
exception?
house. Did you ask about a condition? Okay, and she agreed? Okay. Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Your site plan indicates that 6-foot-high solid fence, PVC, to be
Over the
removed.
dwelling.
We're going to remove that. The whole thing. It's, we see based on the updated survey that it was not installed. It was,
Right, it's
some of
on-
it was still outside of the property line, so we're going to remove the whole thing.
Okay, and
Just
you,
leave it like that.
you-
If we want to later on, put in a different
Come
type
in
of
for
fencing
variance.
according to the code, we'll ask for a permit.
Okay,
But for
because
now, we're
the-
just going to take it down and focus on the space that we need for our
Understood.
our children.
It would not be permitted because it blocks your view of backing out and your neighbor's
Right,
view
we
as
have
well.
corners that we would need to
Yeah,
kind of,
I
yeah,
mean-
we know what the code is, so
Okay.
apologies.
One second, Becky.
Enjoy your
So-
baby.
Thank you.
The deck with the benches and rails, they got need side yard, rear yard, higher, horizontal, and larger, but I don't understand how they need higher. So I'm just gonna get the other, while you look at that, Becky. So on the accessory structure, which is that deck, you need relief for side yard, rear yard, lot area occupied, higher, larger, and so larger, you're allowed 144 square feet.
I do not deny it for higher.
Hold on,
It wasn't denied for higher. It was denied for horizontal length greater than 12 feet and an area greater than 144.
so larger and horizontal.
Yes, and not 2 and 2.
Hold on a second. All right, so we'll amend the caption to eliminate higher as a requirement. So larger, it's allowed 144, it's proposed at what? Whatever. Okay. Becky, thank you. Do you see quick alert? I just want to put it on the record. Deck, side yard, it's not changing, it's at 2, 4.5, where 2 is required. Rear yard, 3 feet 6 inches, 2 is required, not changing. Just got to find the other numbers on here. Do you see the numbers, Beck? Oh, wood deck. The size of the wood deck is 160 square feet, where 144 square feet is allowable. Just need one more deck number. I don't see the horizontal deck. Do you have it so I can put it on?
I had, horizontal greater than 12, 12 is allowed, 16 is presented.
Okay, just on one side horizontal? Or 2 sides? Okay, good, we got those onto the record.
Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's ready.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Next, we have case 36525 Baldwin, Rob Cameron. Variance, side yard, maintained detached garage, also known as 760 Lakeside Drive.
It's a side yard. The only variance required is nothing.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Donald Mastriani with Safeguard Credit Counseling Services, Inc., 67 Fort Salonga Road, Northport, New York, 11768.
Morning.
On behalf of our company, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. We participate in a national nonprofit program known as the National Community Stabilization Trust Program. In connection with that program, we acquired this property in 2023. The purpose of acquisitions of these properties is to restore vacant and abandoned properties to useful use in the community. During our permits that we have on this property to restore the property, we had to do a survey. It came up that the existing garage that existed, it's a detached garage, was slightly inside the required 2-foot setback on the side by approximately a half a foot.
So it maintains
1.5.
It's 1.5.
That's the only variance you need.
Excuse me?
That's the only variance.
That's the only variance we need, correct.
Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Mastriani, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's ready.
Second?
Thank you very much.
Have a nice 4th of July.
Have a happy 4th of July.
All in favor? Okay.
Next, we have case 36625 near Valley Stream, Cheryl Barclay and Neil Muir. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback on Southern State Parkway. Construct second-story deck attached to dwelling, also known as 1670 Arkansas Drive.
Good morning. My
Morning.
name is Cheryl Barclay Muir. I live at 1670 Arkansas Drive, Valley Stream, New York, 11580.
My name is Neil Muir. I live at 1670 Arkansas Drive, Valley Stream, New York, 11580.
Welcome.
Good morning. What's the, you have that stats? Because they're going to need some help.
You're here. One second.
Just to construct a second-story deck.
Yes, you just want to construct a second-story deck, and you live near the Southern State
Parkway.
Parkway.
Yes.
And to do that, you need a variance for lot area occupied and for the front yard,
Setback.
which in your case is near the Southern State, so the normal rules probably wouldn't be appropriately applied there, but we'll go through and talk about the variances you need.
Okay.
Let me just find your site plan and see, okay. You're in a Residence A zone, where you're allowed to occupy 25% of the area of the
Correct.
lot. You're proposing 30.51%, but that's what your house is already at, correct? You're not changing the footprint, are you?
No, I'm not.
Correct, okay. And then, let's see, the only other variance you need is the front yard on Southern State. Let's see what you have. I can't see, where is it? Well,
The backyard, sorry.
front yard setback on Southern State Parkway. Well, she was rejected for the front yard setback on Southern State Parkway.
Parkway.
Okay, that's okay. So, let's see here. Oh, here we go, I can see, it's so hard to see. Minimum front yard,
That's what I said. Yeah, but it's constructed.
30.7. The existing is 30.83, and you want to maintain that, which I'm not getting, as it says, because you would need a variance.
No. Wait. Second floor deck?
Southern State
How
Parkway.
are they gonna put a second floor
Proposed
deck on
second
there?
floor deck. Yeah, so, see what the requirement is.
Yeah. Your house faces the Southern State Parkway,
The back of the house.
the back
Right,
of
but
the
it's,
house.
I'm sure, because there's a street, it's another front yard. It's like a street to street. So it is a
Wait.
front yard on Southern State. Okay, and you're removing a shed,
Already done.
and it looks like this proposed second floor deck does not go any closer to the Southern State Parkway than the existing porch. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so it really is
Smaller.
not, it's de minimis and negligible because you already have a portion of your house that protrudes closer to the Southern State Parkway than does the proposed deck on the second floor. Okay.
Wait. So you have a number of open permits, replacing the front masonry patio and construct the front portico?
Yeah, that was done by Panther, and we had, they said they had closed that, and that was already approved, so I was like, why is it still open?
Still open.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to take care of that. And then 2024, construct a second floor addition and interior alterations on the first floor in excess of 50%. That's a big one. And that's still open.
no, they supposedly closed everything when we looked at the file.
Beck?
Everything was closed off.
You have an update on these?
Yeah, they gave the certificate of occupancy, we paid that, and that was all closed.
Good job.
All building permits have recently been closed.
Is number 24-7475 a permit?
I think it's an application.
24,
It's a building permit
So
It
they
is a-
didn't need relief from us for it, right?
for
It's the cellar entrance, but it's not coming before us because there's a,
cellar entrances do not require,
unless they have some other thing like a side yard or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a permit, we don't need to go in. Okay.
got it.
So if I call you at 7 o'clock in the morning, can you look out your back window and see whether or not I have to take sidewalks to get this?
If there's traffic jam,
That's exactly what I want to see, but there's a lot of trees right now. There's a lot of trees.
okay. Is there anything else you wish to add on this?
No, this is very interesting.
Any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be,
Questions for the board?
move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll both receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. We decided a lot of the cases tonight, some we need more information on, so you're free to check in tomorrow if you want to see, if you need to do builders, since it's building time.
Okay, no problem.
Have a nice day, folks.
You too, and happy 4th of
Bye.
July, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Next, we have cases 36725 through 36925. Merrick, Anthony, and Tiziana Como. Variance side yard, maintain 2 AC units attached to dwelling. Special exception to construct second accessory structure, pavilion higher and larger than permitted and exceeding horizontal maximum on all sides with lot area occupied variance. Maintain fence varying in height from 7 feet to 9.5 feet and within clear sight triangle at neighbor's driveway, which may substantially obstruct line of sight, also known as 2288 Halyard Drive. Ms. Pingallo, I have you sworn in from earlier. Just your name and address again for the record.
Tina Pengallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. Good morning again. I'm representing Anthony and Tiziana Como of 2288 Halyard Drive in Merrick. The property is located on the northwest corner of Halyard Drive and Pimlico Road in Residence B. We're requesting a variance to maintain fencing varying in height from 7 feet to 9.5 feet within the clear side triangle of the neighbor's driveway, 2 AC units in the side yard, and a special exception to construct a pavilion higher and larger than permitted with lot area occupied and a second accessory structure. In 2022, an in-ground pool was installed with a 6-foot fence under building permit 21-8652. The grade was raised at the time and dry wells were installed and a certificate of completion was issued. Because the grade was raised, the 6-foot fence went from 3 foot to 4 foot on the inside of the property. They lived like this for about a year, but this caused some concern because the Comos have 2 children, Joseph, who has Down syndrome and autism, and Ava, who is autistic, ADHD, and has a speech sound disorder. Because of the height of the fence in the yard, the children did not have the privacy they needed, and Joseph would also throw things over the fence when he got upset, and they raised the fence in 2023, not realizing that would be a problem. I would like to submit their medical records for Joseph and Ava. Is that okay? You don't need to?
Prefer not. I don't
Okay.
think their medical records are being
Okay, but they are just, yeah. But I also do have letters from the surrounding neighbors indicating they have no objections.
Oh, great.
The side yard required for the AC units are 5 feet, and the side yard provided is 1 foot 8 inches and 1 foot 10 inches. This is pretty similar to the neighbor next door that you have in your pictures where the AC units are both near each other on that area. The Comos purchased the home 7 years ago, and the AC unit was existing at the time. We're also requesting a special exception to construct a pavilion higher and larger than permitted. The maximum length and width is 12 by 12, and the length and width proposed would be 16 by 20. The maximum square footage allowed is 144 square feet, and the square footage proposed would be 320 square feet. The maximum height allowed is 9 feet, and the height proposed is 12 feet, 10 1/4 inches. The lot coverage allowed is 27.5%, and the lot coverage proposed would be 28.9%.
With everything.
Correct.
And your client would agree not to enclose the portico if approved?
Absolutely. Because the structure will cover the outdoor barbecue, which is under permit 218667. It will provide shade for the family and, most importantly, the Como's children. The property is beautifully maintained. There's no objections from the neighbors, and due to the children's medical conditions, we're respectfully asking the board to grant this variance.
Okay, Ms. Pangello, let's talk about the fence.
Yes.
Okay, for starters, you were rejected for the neighbor's driveway. I assume that's the neighbors, the Whites, Carrie Welts? Is that the neighbor whose driveway is near your fence?
Yes. So I was curious because it's 15 feet away from the neighbor's driveway. So is that still considered in the clear sight triangle?
Huh. Seems no. How long's the fence been here at this height?
Since 2023, 2 years.
And how long? It was only a short while while it was the other height, right?
Correct, yes. It was about a year.
Okay, and did Ms. Welts, one of the people who agreed to who
Yes.
has no objection?
Yes.
Hold on, we have some comments. You want to read them?
few opposed, and we have several in favor.
Okay, there are two here. One, we don't know who it's from, opposed, I'll just read it to you so you can respond if you wish. Oh, it just says opposed, not why. The other one says opposed, very strongly oppose this structure, nothing else. So there's no real explanation as to why anyone would be opposed. Let me find that one location of that person. T-E-I-C-H. Oh, the person opposed, who doesn't tell us what they're opposed to, is the person that is one house away, if you, on Halyard Drive, so around the corner, not near the fence really.
Oh, okay.
And the fence, doesn't the fence go down the shared property line with the T-E-I-C-H name? I don't have it on my diagram.
No, it affects White's, Kerry White's
Right,
on Pemmico.
but if there's a swimming pool, the fence must be on the other property line, no?
Yes, but that's not anything that would require the variance.
Oh, so there is a fence there, it's just not, you didn't note it because it's not before us. Okay. And how far does that fence, I assume, doesn't go forward of the dwelling toward Halyard, right?
No, it's actually to the back of the dwelling.
Okay, good. And your testimony is that the Welts driveway is 15 feet from the shared property line?
Correct. Yeah, I have a picture.
Okay,
You took the photograph yourself?
Yes.
When?
A couple of months ago?
Okay, take it fairly and accurately?
Yes.
Represent what the report still
Yes.
accepted?
so you also have the clear sight triangle, well, that clear sight triangle was at the neighbor's use. You have the other one. Oh, and substantially accept, so you don't have the other one. No, I was just making sure that they weren't too close on the corner.
Teach. There's no fence.
Yeah, it's between them going back, yeah, you're right. Hold on, let's see.
The other one you can't see, but
The other one's in
it does
favor.
look like it's 15 feet. Maybe I'll get Mark to help us out.
You want to put that on? So Ms. Pangallo, counsel to the board, has pointed out that the issue may have arose because although the curb cut is 15 feet away, there's driveway much closer.
Oh,
You see the cars. Now granted, they need to go over to the curb cut to go out, so presumably the fence won't be a visual obstacle for safety reasons, but that may be why the driveway appears much closer to the fence, even though you
okay.
can't go in or out there.
Right, I was measuring to the curb cut, thinking that's where the measurement
Right,
was.
Becky, did you see it? Okay. Either way, okay.
Any other questions from the board? Not, do I have a
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pangallo, you'll be notified by mail the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much.
Aye.
Next, we have case 37025, near Valley Stream, Ethan Moskowitz. Variance lot area occupied to construct 2.5-story dwelling with open porch, also known as 617 Nutley Place. Swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Take a seat, state your name and address for the record.
Name is Paul Biegler from PEB Design Group with John Cababianco Architects at 159 Dowdy Boulevard. We're here today, I'm here to represent Ethan and Brewer Moskowitz. They are proposing a 2.5-story new dwelling located at 617 Nutley Place, Valley Stream, Section 39, Block 601, Lot 9, on the north side of Nutley Place, 350 feet west of Cliffside Avenue. This is deemed in a Zone X FEMA. And before I get into the zoning data, The Moskowitz came to us a year and a half ago, and they currently live in a split level that's about 2,500 square feet. They have 3 bedrooms, and they have needed to increase the size of the house because they have 4 children. Their 6-year-old Max has severe ADHD, and they have a father that has cancer. Brewer is a therapist, and she plans on taking care of her father for his quality of life. And that's part of the design that we have to do. They needed the first floor to be on 1 level, and they needed 5 bedrooms for their children and growing family. A lot of area occupied. Only that. That's correct. Yes, that's correct, yes. Yep, 32.9%. It's 300. That's correct, because there's 2 different, when you put a porch, you're allowed to have 30%. When you do the building, you're allowed 27.5%. So that's why we broke it out differently, yes. So the board understands that we have a porch that is at 35.9% proposed, and we have a house that's proposed at 32.9%. Yes, it is.
Well, the porch counts in lot area because it has a roof. He's over here.
They'll never enclosing it. Never. Correct. No, that should be. I also have,
Hold on.
I do have, I'm sorry, petition with all the neighbors approving this new house. I made copies for the board.
Okay, who took the petition around?
The owners,
Okay.
yeah.
Then I would, Mr. Chairman, move that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. You may have heard me say earlier that some of the cases will be decided tonight. Given that I assume you need to get, hold on, workers, you could call tomorrow and see if your case was in fact decided.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Favor?
Aye.
Board.
Next, we have case 371 of 25, North Belmore, Juicy LaCourte. Maintain barbecue island with roof over, higher and larger than permitted, exceeding horizontal maximum on all sides, located in the front yard on Belmore Road, and with lot area occupied variance, also known as 122 Ample Avenue.
Lisa Crescio with Permits or Us, 338 Jericho Turnpike, number 396, Syosset, New York, 11791.
Yeah, can we just ask you if your client would accept a condition this never be enclosed, because it would be a second residence? If it
Yeah. Yes.
Keep going.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm here representing Mr. LaCourte, who wishes to maintain a barbecue island with a roof over. This property is located in a Residence B zone. The barbecue island is an L shape and has a horizontal max of 14.25 feet on one side and 16.8 feet on the other, where 12 feet is required. The roof over has a horizontal max of 16.1 feet and 30.2 feet, where 12 feet is required.
Oh, hold on. I assume those 14 and 16 numbers, that's just the barbecue. So
Correct.
can
The
you give me-
barbecue island is the 14.25
Yeah,
and
I
16.8.
I incorrectly assumed those were the roofs, so tell me the roof numbers again.
That's okay. The roof has a horizontal max of 16.1 and 30.2.
Well, what else is under there then?
Just, sitting space where you can put a table and whatnot.
A bedroom,
Yeah.
a bathroom? No enclosing that thing?
No enclosure. The total square feet is 560 square feet, where 144 square feet is allowed, and is located in the secondary front yard. The height is 9.4 feet, where 9 feet is allowed, and the lot coverage is 32.4%, where 27.5% is required.
Hold on. The fact that it's in, I don't have a variance that is being triggered by the fact of its location. You don't need a special exception or anything for that. In other words, I have the size of it and all, and it does note that it's located in the front yard on Belmore Road, but it doesn't say special exception to put it there. Do I not need
Okay.
anything for that, Becky?
We're going into that fence ordinance again.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find, Joe, did you get it? Here we go. Switch it.
This is a substandard lot, having less than the required 6,000 square feet, and it's also irregular in shape.
How many square feet does it have?
I think it's something like, it's irregular, it's like 60 by 80. Hold on. The lot size is 5,456 square feet. There is no backyard on this property, so the location of the barbecue island and roof over is the only place that they could secure outdoor living.
I need the site. Can I see here?
The only neighbor directly affected would be the neighbor in the rear on Belmore Road, and I have a letter from them saying that they do not have any objection. If I can submit that into evidence, please.
Okay, hold on. Which, is that the Alfords?
Here you go. You're welcome. That is, it would be behind them, Gustavo and Graciela Alford, correct?
Oh, hold on. Well, this, yeah. Now, it's partially done. Did they get like a stop work order or something?
Yes.
Oh, so someone didn't like it, I guess.
Yeah.
We have a letter of objection.
Let me guess. C-A-R-R. Manor Court. From someone on Manor Court.
How far is Manor Court from this property?
Joe, do you know?
What's that?
How far Manor Court? Maybe this person owns a rental nearby?
Oh, maybe. I don't see Manor Court on here.
I don't see it at all.
No, I don't
Yeah.
either.
Where is Manor Court in relation to this home?
I don't know.
How about you find that, Mark? They're good with that. Find, yeah,
I didn't know that.
Manor Court in Belmore.
Mr. Chairman, I live 5 blocks away. There's no Manor Court within a 200-foot radius.
Yes. fireproof material. I'm not sure. I have, yes, right now, it's just that wood structure, but there's no finishing on it. So it's unfinished, basically, so it will be finished as soon as they get the, right now, they have the stop work order, unfortunately. So it's just the bare bones of the structure. No, thank you, just that they, Mr. LaCourte respectfully requests your approval.
Any other questions
Yeah,
from the board?
yes, just for your information, on Belmore Road, there's that 6-foot fence, just south of the pavilion that you're asking for. There's a portion that runs, it's, I don't know how to
Forward
describe.
toward Ample,
Forward toward Ample. That's,
forward of the dwelling.
yeah, you see that?
Yes, I've been there, I know what you're talking about,
That-
the fencing.
That's not, that has not been approved pursuant to the variance that was granted in 2023. So that should be removed.
When did they get the stop work order? Roughly, how long ago?
They're actually
Like a
here.
year ago,
I can
or-
ask them, I'm not 100% sure.
I know you need, whoever was going to answer, just come up, quickly give your name and address, get sworn at, and then.
Sure.
Hello, my name is Josué Lacourt, and
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hello, my name is Josué Lacourt, and I live at 122 Ample Avenue. The stop work order came about September, I think, last year.
Curiosity, are you familiar with this, where maybe oftentimes if someone writes an objection and they don't live nearby, it might be because they own a rental. I get the impression that this person is complaining for someone that lives nearer to you than this person does. This person claims to live at 1422 Manor Court. Do you have any idea, Mr. Katsi? Say that. I don't know why I'm having trouble. Katsiadis.
Nope.
Okay. Okay, I don't. I wanted 1422.
No, I don't know, it's not even on here. I don't know why the hell she showed it.
No, in there. In there. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah. Here, Joe.
No, the fence isn't even, yeah. Becky had to run out.
Sure. Okay, let me see. Oh. He's talking about this part that goes forward. So there's the front of your house.
The record, Ms. Stephanie, that the board has,
I was gonna say, I thought you meant the,
hold
I
on.
apologize,
The-
I thought you
One
meant.
sec, one sec.
Oh, hold
The
on.
board
Sorry.
has located the address of the individual who objected by way of email, and it appears that it is 2.4 miles away from the subject property. So we're not clear on why they have a concern. You have no other reason to believe there's any other proximity involved. Go ahead.
I thought that you were speaking about the fence that just juts forward. I don't have
Yeah,
the
that's
measurement
what
on
Mr.
it.
Pellegrini was
But
talking.
I thought you were talking about the piece that comes just a little bit forward, maybe a few feet to the right. But that piece that you see on Belmore Road, that doesn't exist. That piece forward there, when they went for the variance for the building permit 22-3207 for the pool with the enclosure, they had to take it off. They weren't permitted to put that
All
on.
right, let's get that corrected on
So
here.
that shouldn't be on there. I can submit one with correction if you need.
Would that be preferable, Christina? I just want I want it to accurately reflect if we approve something as to the site plan, I don't want to show that thing. Well, because all we want to do is show that that fence isn't, the inspector might look at that and say, oh. Okay, how do we just make sure that anyone who looks in this file in the future doesn't think that we approve that fence? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So Ms. Kachia, if you could amend the current one, I just want the file to have the accurate one in it for future reference. And then Christina, tell her how to.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Okay. Anyone, do you have any other? Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Kachia, you and your clients will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's ready.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a happy 4th. Thanks.
Yeah, it's really two quick cases,
Not a
I
heavy-
believe. No reason to believe it's not.
We have a second call.
And even if we don't, we'll just get the 9:30 out. And if you need it, if I'm wrong about the 11 o'clock, there's one 11 o'clock case, we could even take the break then. Let's just knock out the 9:30.
Next, we have case 37225, North Belmore, Richard Kane, variance, front yard setback on Joel Drive, installed generator attached dwelling, also known as 2447 K-Run Lane.
Yeah.
Good morning. Yes, good morning, members of the board. My name is Dean Katsubis. My address is 121 Newbridge Road, Hicksville, New York, 11801.
You're going to install a generator that needs a front yard setback.
Yes, I'm here on behalf of Mormon Electric, the generator company, and representing the owner, Richard Kane. This is a corner property. We're seeking a variance to install a generator in the secondary front yard. This location was chosen as it was determined to be the best possible location for the generator, given its close proximity to the utilities, and it will also be screened by existing landscaping in this area. Speaking to the clients, the need for this generator is much more than a luxury. It became a necessity. They are an older couple, and as they're getting older, it becomes more difficult every time the electric goes out. In addition, I'd like to point out, Mr. Kane uses a CPAP machine. And speaking to them, they tell me that in their area, the power goes out approximately 4 to 5 times a year, and it's not always storm-related. Sometimes it goes back on in a few minutes, and sometimes they take hours to be restored.
Mr. Katsubis, I'm reading the caption, and it says, generator attached to dwelling. I'm looking at the plot plan, and it looks like the generator is at least 10 feet away from the dwelling.
Correct.
How how is it attached?
That's the way,
Lines?
well, by wires and pipes and so on. It's an accessory
That's
to the house,
attached.
but.
It is,
Mr.
okay.
Katsubas, though, of this whole area, I feel like that's like the worst possible location. I understand it needs to pipe into the board, you know, the breaker boards, but there must be somewhere else that's not sticking out in the middle of the front yard.
Yeah, but there's trees in that. That area is fully landscaped, so that's like a good spot for it being, it won't be visible from the street or to any neighboring properties.
Why can't it be anywhere else? Like, it's the worst
They
possible.
absolutely, so, just so you know, the company Mormon Electric installs these generators. They actually consult with the clients, and they would have rather not done a variance whatsoever. I mean, being that it took so many months to get to this state, they determined that this was like the best location. Anywhere else.
Why? Why was this? What about this makes it so desirable?
Because of window, you know, the other side of the house would have had to, they would have to run extra gas lines to get to the other side of the house, and extra electrical. So that is where on that side of the house is where.
Wait. So let's deal with the gas line. So I'm guessing they don't have a gas line currently running into the middle of their front yard and amongst their landscaping, do they? And they're gonna have to put in a gas line for this thing regardless of where they put it, aren't they?
What? No, the gas line, there is gas in the house, and that's where the meter is.
What's that?
That's where the meter is
The
located.
meter is,
On that side of the house.
you want to inspect this?
Is that your client?
No.
No.
Okay. It just doesn't belong
Why
there.
don't you take a look at it, because it seems like a very bad location.
It is. It doesn't need it doesn't need an inspection. It belongs behind the fence.
Well, go look and see if there's somewhere else you don't know. Because they said it's gonna be.
We'll hold it.
Yeah, we'll hold it.
How's it gonna be hidden?
May I come up?
Okay.
Maybe I could suggest an alternate location.
Just for the record, we have an email in opposition. Comment. Curious to know more details as to what is being done. The notice isn't very clear. Will this be something erected? Will it be inside the backyard behind the fence or visually on the corner underground? If you'd like to comment, please be my guest.
Based on what I'm hearing, it seems like behind the fence may be in a more appropriate location, and if that's where this
Well,
board is.
we'll deliberate, and if we need to have.
Someone will inspect.
Take a look at it. Mr. Pellegrini lives in that area.
All right, so we're going to hold this,
Okay.
all right?
Let's take a break.
We're going to take a break, unless you have something you'd like to add.
That will be it.
All right, I move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Katsubas, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll take a 10-minute break.
Because she asked for it earlier, so it'll be 10 minutes. 10 minutes, Stephanie, enough?
It's a renewal.
Next, we have case 15025 through 15225, Near Island Park, Austin Realty Corporation. Renewal of grants, maintain drive-through window in conjunction with Starbucks Coffee Shop, maintain dumpster with enclosure within clear sight triangle, maintain off-street parking and permission to park in front yard setback on Austin Boulevard, California Place South, and Iowa Place, also known as 4507 Austin Boulevard.
My name is Jay Russo at 208 Regent Drive, Lido Beach, New York, 11561. Good morning. Yes. The only question I have, is there any way to make these, like permanent, like the variance permanent? It's been like almost 20 years that I haven't changed anything.
Well, some of them I don't, I mean, I'm just one of the group, but for example, maintaining the dumpster with the enclosure and the clear sight triangle, that's not the kind of thing that we would generally make permanent because, you know, let's say the owner sells the business and the next guy puts it in a location that wouldn't be acceptable and we don't have any knowledge of it. So the fact that it's temporary puts it on the building department's calendar every 5 years to go and take a look and make sure. We have the same issue with fences. Someone gets a 4-foot fence where there's still visibility, whereas 6-foot wouldn't have that. And they sell the house and the next person comes in and puts a 6-foot fence up. And we never become aware of it, yet it could be a visibility for safety reasons. So, I mean, we can address it. We'll take your request into consideration. I don't know, maybe with the drive-through window, we can consider
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying. Whatever we can possibly make permanent, I have no intention of changing or selling the property. So, you know, I just want to bring it up. If it's not possible, I understand as well.
We will deliberate on it.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to answer?
No, thank you.
Any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Have a good weekend.
Second call, 35525 North Belmore, Christian Fortmeyer, renewal of grant to maintain 6-foot high fence, also known as 109 Hazel Street.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Aye.
Thank you, Beck. See you later. And we don't have to repeat the specifics on each case. 353 of 2025 Woodmere, Teresa Anthony, renewal of a grant to maintain a two-family dwelling. Any comments from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I have a motion, file number 353 of 25 Woodmere,
Antoni be granted as requested, 5 years, same conditions.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? West Hempstead, 354 of 2025. Hernan G. Rojas and Monica Carvajal. That was granted an appearance waiver. It's renewal of a grant to maintain 6-foot-high fence. Property address is 339 Madison Avenue. Any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I have a motion on 35425 West Hempstead to grant with same conditions.
Temporary?
Temporary conditions.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? 355-25 North Belmore, Christine, Fort Myers. We just granted that appearance waiver. And that's also a renewal on property at 109 Hazel Street. It's a fence case. Any comments? If not, do I have a motion on this case?
I move case 35525 North Belmore be approved as requested, temp 5 years.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Case 356-25 Elmont Kimberly A. Pierre. That's renewal to maintain a today's fence day. 6-foot-high stockade fence in the front yard. That property address is 131 Heathcote Road. We granted an appearance waiver. If there are no comments, can I have a motion?
Move that case 356-2025 in Elmont, as you previously described it, be approved as requested, same conditions, 5 years.
Second. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? 357-25 West Hempstead. Anthony J. and Jean Bonfiglio, that's a renewal as well. We granted an appearance waiver on that case, and the property address is 297 Plymouth Street. Any comments from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 357 of 2025 be granted as previously approved. 5 years.
5 years. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Case 358 of 2025, East Atlantic Beach, Leonid Lev and Olga Zilberstein. That's a variance lot area occupied, front yard, average setback, side yard, aggregate, rear yard, constructed dwelling with a roof deck.
No enclosure condition.
Demolish the existing dwelling. There is a condition that, go ahead. Somebody want to make a motion?
Make a motion, file number 358 of 25 East Atlantic Beach, Leonard Lev and Olga Sternstein be granted as requested
With a caveat
with conditions. With new
conditions, roof deck, right.
And that the roof deck remain open.
Second? Seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay, 359 and 360 of 2025 Belmore, Nadine Hillel, side yard aggregate, construct a garage with a second story above attached to dwelling, maintain pool equipment not permitted in the side yard. Any comments? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 35925.
And
be,
360.
approved with conditions.
And 360 as well?
Yes.
Okay, and that is, let's see, side yard aggregate, construct garage. Okay. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Case 361, New Valley Stream, Jagangir and Roshan Gadit, mother-daughter residence, 64 Homeld Street. Any comments from the board? If not, can I have a motion?
I move case 361 of 25.
You know what? If I can,
Oh, go.
I want to make sure that garage is not converted to living space.
So you want to say
So,
building?
so if we grant it,
We can add that as a specific condition.
yeah, yep.
Okay.
And I'd like to make sure that, because once it's granted, we're going to get a building department inspection, is that correct?
Every 3 years.
We're going to get one now.
Correct.
Yes.
All right, so make mention of the fact that they should make a special effort to get into the garage.
The garage is.
Both.
Okay, so I make a motion on 361 of 25, near Valley Stream, located at 64 Hummel Street, Be approved as requested with mother-daughter conditions, but with the caveat that the garage remain a garage.
And-
All of the garages.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Marky Mark. 362 of 25 near Valley Stream, Abraham Gross and Sarah Friedman. Front yard average setback, lot area occupied, rear yard. This case has been adjourned to September 10th at 11 a.m. 363 and 364 in West Hempstead, Stephanie, Ilana Lasansi, and Abraham Costo. Variances, not Costco. Lot area, front yard, side yard, second-story addition with a front portico to be kept open, all attached to dwelling, and a special exception to maintain accessory structure, wood deck with benches and rails. The caption has to be amended to delete the higher. It's larger than permitted, exceeding horizontal max, with more than required side yard and rear yard setbacks and lot area occupied. Property address is 801 Harrison Street. Any comments from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion. Cases 363 and 364, as you previously described them in West Hempstead, that the request with the amended caption to delete the word higher, that they request that the variances that were requested, the relief requested be granted with a permanent condition that the open spaces may not be agreed to, that the open spaces may not be enclosed anytime in the future. Just trying to see if there are any other special conditions. I think that's it.
The wood deck and the front porch.
That's it, right.
Right.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 365 in Baldwin, Rob Cameron. Side yard variance, maintain a detached garage. Do I have any comments from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 365, 2025, Ron Cameron at 760 Lakeside Drive be granted as requested.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
366 near Valley Stream, Cheryl Barkley and Neil Muir. Lot area occupied, front yard setback on the parkway. Construct second-story deck, which should be kept open. Right? Someone want to make a motion?
I make motion, file number 366 at 25, Cheryl Barkley, Neil Muir, variances be granted as requested with the condition that the deck does not get enclosed.
Second?
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, 367, 68, and 69 of 2025. Anthony and Tiziana Como. Side yard, maintain 2 AC units attached, special exception, construct a pavilion higher and larger than permitted and exceeding horizontal max on all sides with a lot area occupied variance. Maintain a fence varying in height from 7 foot to 9.5 feet within a clear sight triangle at neighbor's driveway, which may substantially obstruct the line of sight, which it does not. Can I have a motion on this case, unless you have any comments?
I make a motion for 367 through 369. 367, I believe, is accepted with temporary conditions, and 369 with temporary conditions.
So the 367 and 368, open spaces remain open?
Yeah.
Permanently granted, and 369 temporary with conditions for the fences.
That's what he said.
Second that. Oh,
All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Case 370 of 2025, near Valley Stream, Ethan Moskowitz. Lot area occupied. Construct a 2.5-story wonder with a porch that's going to remain open. Property address 617 Nutley Place. Any comments? If not, do I have a motion?
I make a motion 370 of 25, Ethan Moskowitz be approved as requested with new home conditions and that the, what is it, the porch
Open.
remain open.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, case 371 of 2025, North Belmore Josu Lacourt. He's maintaining the barbecue island with a roof over, higher and larger than permitted, exceeding horizontal max on all sides, located in the front yard on Belmore Road. Property address is 122 Ampel Avenue. Go ahead.
I spoke to the applicant's agent, and they are going to be providing an amended plot plan, which shows that portion of the fence forward of the dwelling is gone. So there's no confusion in the future.
And what do we do about making sure, I mean, quite frankly, that the overhead was, I mean, the guy next door didn't complain about it, but I want to make sure that since
Won't there be,
there's got to be fireproof material, it's got to be finished with fireproof.
the upstairs stuff.
That should be a building department requirement.
Right.
You remember the fire pit case that we had?
Yeah.
That's what I said when
Those
you
were
first.
all building department requirements that have nothing to do with the area and dimensional relief that we would be
All right.
granting.
All right.
But we could put a specific condition in there that, you know, they must comply with all fire rating as, you know, pursuant to all applicable
Yeah.
rules.
Were you there when I asked, did you hear Becky's answer when I asked her that question? The one with the plot plan over, or picture?
As long
She
as you're
said
not
there's
gonna
no
talk up.
requirement.
There's no requirement that it be finished with
I said,
fireproof
you gotta
material?
be kidding, she said. But,
Of
Yeah.
course.
but
Let's-
So this is the case also where if we approve it, we're not, no enclosure.
Yes.
I think we should just say that it meets
Fire rating?
all building codes.
All New York, local
New York and New
State.
York State.
By what?
Or no,
How so?
no.
They did.
Yeah, but,
It's a roof over.
Yes, it's very much like those, you're right.
but what, let me ask you a question. I mean, no mention was, obviously, there was cabinetry in there. We're talking about the barbecue island. There was a barbecue island, I guess that was where the cabinetry was located, and then in the middle, it looked like there was something else there.
Yeah, it was an island being.
Say outdoor kitchen.
Was there plumbing? There was a sink and all
Yeah.
sorts of
Yeah.
Well, I don't know
Yep.
if sink, but there's clearly at least gas going. Right, but what is it we don't want them to do? Let's just get to that. What does somebody not want here?
Well, the guy next door is the guy who wrote in favor of it.
But if he's smart enough to reference that, we have to grant it.
Or, no, we don't have to grant it. We can distinguish.
If it was somebody
Yes.
within a 200-foot radius, you have a better leg to stand on. Something
But-
that's appropriate, let's say,
But
in
he can
Inwood,
always
where there are
distinguish.
4,500 lots, is not necessarily appropriate in a residence.
But you can always
AA
find a
where
way
you
to
have
distinguish
properties
it.
with 20,000 square foot lots, no?
But Christina can always find a way to distinguish it.
There is
Okay.
always the concern of the precedential impact. There always is that concern. But it's whether or not it's distinguishable in other cases.
Not that I saw.
And there are very
But it's
few
gotta
that are not.
comply. Building code, it's gotta comply with that. I quite frankly think it was hideous.
Your point's well taken. Yep, your point's well taken. Every decision we render has precedential impact.
That, unless it can be distinguished.
Correct.
Well, it has presidential impact. It's just how we use it, you know?
Want to make a motion on this case?
It is, you're up.
Me?
Yep.
Oh. I move as it relates to case 371 of 2025, affecting the property at 122 Ample Avenue, that the requested relief be granted with a condition, permanent condition, that none of the barbecue and/or its overhead be further enclosed by walls or anything else.
Second?
That's it.
And further, that it meets all the New York State building.
Thank you, yes.
Codes. Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Seconded.
Aye.
Ne-
I did.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay. 372 of 2025 North Belmore, Richard Kane.
I'd like to
Let's see.
take a look at that.
Okay. That's good. 150, 151, and 152 of 2025 near Island Park, Boston Realty Corp. Maintain the drive-through window. Can we make that permanent?
I'm okay with that, I think. Well, wait, if we make it permanent, do they get to keep it if they change the business?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what happens if the volume changes or lighting changes or
All right.
They have a bunch of other cases that they have to come in front of us anyway, so granting one permanently, it's not gonna affect them from coming in.
Gotcha. Are they gonna feature all be rolled together now?
Yes, I would hope that's how it's handled in the future.
So who wants to make a
I
motion?
make a motion, file numbers 150 of 25, 151 of 25, 152 of 25, be granted 5 years with conditions.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Got K5s. All right, that concludes the morning calendar, so what do we have on reserve, if anything?
On reserve, we can stay again on that side. Mr. Plumer, the cases that you just signed on the renewal, it does have a companion case which was in front of this board quite a while ago on December 18th.
Can we move that they be consolidated, maybe? Just so they all come together again.
All right, so that's his motion.
Isn't this nice? I know, I'm thinking I don't need to oscillate. I don't know how to change it over here.
They're all separate cases, so I think it should be then in the future, they should be expiring at the same time, so
All right.
consolidate, I mean, they are separate cases.
Ooh, if you turn it off and then back on, it doesn't oscillate.
All right. So what do we, on cases 729 and 730 of 2024, any comments from the board? If not, do I have a
I
motion?
make a motion, case 729 of 24 to 730 of 24, Island Park, Austin Realty, be granted with conditions.
Second?
I second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
On page one of the reserve, the only update I have is the last case I spoke to Mr. McKeever after.
Wait, what happened to 31 of 25? There was a hearing scheduled for June 12. What happened?
So, what happened, apparently, New York State takes a while to get their decisions out, which
Do we know if the hearing actually happened?
it did happen. I was contacted by the applicant who heard that apparently they will be granting it, but I did make mention to him that the board is going to want to have a copy of that decision in hand prior to making a determination on the case in front of us.
All right, so,
I spoke to Mr. McKevitt after he presented. He has a conference call scheduled later this week with both the applicant and the architect. So hopefully they will be able to provide amended plans.
okay.
We do have a slight update on Popeyes as well. Okay, so you'll recall that the NCPC did not make a determination. The applicant, it fell through the cracks, attorneys changed, et cetera, that they never submitted the amended plans and traffic study to the NCPC, who held it in abeyance. So it was supposed to be on their calendar for, I believe it was June 26th, but apparently the applicant's attorney requested that the NCPC determination be postponed till a later July date. So So my suggestion would be we hold it.
Hold it.
Pending NCPC. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? You know, I'll be damned, I know I have to inspect 278 and 279, and I'm just wondering why I wanted to inspect it.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the house is boarded up or in very poor condition.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
I'll look at it. I've got that flagged. I'll get,
I'll look at my calendars in the back, I'm sure.
okay. Anything else on that? Okay.
311? Uh-oh. I didn't do that. Is that, no,
It says JRJP Dispatch.
yeah,
Called
I
Cafe.
failed.
Okay,
I'll do that.
okay.
Okay.
The next update, Mr. Owens, I believe, the next case, I think Mr. Owens has an update.
Yes, so
Mr. Owens.
This is 321.
I received a call from the building department yesterday from the inspector that's going out. They were not able to get into the building, but they received a call from the owners, and they could only meet with them to let them in July 31st.
Oh,
Because their tenant's moving out at the end of July.
I also have a suggestion.
It's a
As
critical
Mr.
date.
Plumer mentioned earlier, our decisions have precedential impact. You will all recall the Merkin case, which was for a pool house in Atlantic Beach, and the board made that a temporary grant. So I think that there is some precedential impact that a pool house could be made a temporary grant. If the board is inclined to grant it, that would be.
a pool house can be made a temporary grant, however, this may be more than pool house.
Right, and by the way, wait, no, it just really looks like they're evicting a tenant.
Yeah.
Well,
Is this the
evicting a
one where
tenant, the tenant will be there until January of 2027.
My suggestion would be that if there is any, if the board is inclined to grant it and there is any type of issue like that, it could be a temporary.
Not
so
gonna grant,
it has to-
not gonna grant it until the building department gets in, and tell the inspector to take photos.
Or how about we have two inspections, one in July 31st, and then we have one, a month later, to see if you move someone else in.
Maybe a month and a half later.
Okay.
Just mark that for the beginning of, the middle of August, I'll go and do it. All right? But we're not gonna grant it anyway. All right,
So I do have an update also on 33425
Mhm.
Tripodi, the two-family. We did look at the old grants. The grant, there was no owner-occupied conditions, CNRs were fine. So we can, if the board. Correct. But I know that is an issue. If the board would like, you could always make them file new CNRs where upon transfer or sale, it becomes owner-occupied.
How long
But
ago was that grant?
I believe 2007.
Should we just leave it?
You can, you absolutely can. But that would be, I don't think it's appropriate to impose a owner-occupied condition now as it is.
I think
Upon
you're right.
transfer or sale, I think that's.
May hold water.
Yeah.
Little less tenable.
So again, it was not owner-occupied,
I mean, they're gonna argue with the property, right, the way one would think.
but,
Sure. Your turn.
I move that case 334 of 2025, Tripodi LLC, renewal of a grant to, a variance to maintain lot area variance to a two-family dwelling, that it be granted with the condition that it be upon sale or transfer, that it would be owner-occupied.
Second.
That a covenant be filed with that.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I think there's possibly a takings claim there, or some sort of, substantive due process or equal protection.
Anything on page 3?
Page 3.
Yeah,
Pellegrini did 345.
What did Pellegrini have to say?
He determined that the stairs had been removed, which is why I went out there. There is an overhead deck, which is still there, but I don't believe that violates the side yard. So,
Can we add a condition
And
on the
therefore-
roof of the patio?
Sure. That it remain open.
yeah.
Correct.
So, I move that case 345 be granted with the condition that the roofed-over patio not be enclosed, and that the stairs, which had been removed, are not to be put back.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed?
We gotta hold 136.
Yep.
I did send out a draft on case 160 with respect to the garage where it was recaptioned as a special exception and taken out of the use category. It was denied for height, yes. And you'll recall that this was the garage that's existing. It has been there for quite some time.
This is the people who, well, I would feel a little emotion myself, knowing that story about the other one.
So,
Well, I move, okay, as it relates to case 160, 2025, Jody Resnick, Tirado, and Joseph Tirado, I move that we grant, that we adopt the decision drafted by council to the board.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? What else?
I just,
Eater party, eater party, eater party.
You gotta go feed the dog,
I did.
both of you.
No one's in my house.
I wanna go to Kim's house and help her feed the dog.
What kind of dog?
She's got a little wussy dog, you know, it's not a real dog. Real dogs. I don't care where we
wait,
are.
are we done?
I couldn't find his club if he's not in front of me.
time, girls. Oh, girls, hello? They're not paying attention, doesn't matter. Hello to me. Good one.
See you over there, everybody.
We have a case that, Gardena Jufus, it's case number 292 of 2020, and it's a request for an extension of time. It was last granted 5/26/21, and I would move that we grant them a one-year extension of time.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
JP and
P,
MP.
JP and MP.
MP.
We also have another extension of time.
Oh, man, pour it on.
This is for cases, it was to do with premises at 168 and 186 Wall Avenue in Inwood. It was a five-part subdivision that was granted back in 2020. We gave them an extension time that expired in March of this year.
And what do they need to do?
They need another extension of time. They need to obtain permits.
I would move that we grant them a one-year extension of time.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed?
MP. And there's a blank check here.
All in
Aye.
favor?